Every masterpiece begins with a question. What does progress look like when it becomes human? The 2025 Kia Sportage HEV Light isn't just an evolution of design, it's an evolution of intention. In a world obsessed with speed, this car whispers something deeper. Balance between movement and stillness, between technology and intuition. It's not just about driving forward, it's about discovering what drives you. The road doesn't define the Sportage HEV Light, it reveals it. There's something deeply human about the way we recognize beauty, that quiet moment when structure and soul align. The 2025 Kia Sportage HEV Light stands as one of those moments, not because it's loud or radical or desperate for attention, but because it understands the difference between noise and presence. You don't simply look at it, you feel it. The design doesn't announce itself, it reveals itself, layer by layer as your gaze travels across its form. Every line, every curve, every surface seems to carry the weight of deliberation. You sense that nothing here was done by accident, that each detail has been sculpted by the twin hands of logic and intuition. The first thing you notice is its stance, that grounded, balanced posture that speaks of quiet confidence. It stands as though it knows its own purpose. The proportions are bold, yet human, muscular, yet refined. There's strength in its stillness, the kind of strength that doesn't need to prove itself. You can almost imagine the designers asking not, how do we make it bigger, but how do we make it truer? The tiger nose grille, now evolved and reimagined, carries an expression of intelligence, sharp but not aggressive, assertive but not arrogant. The boomerang-shaped LED headlights flank it like eyes that see further than the road ahead, symbols of awareness, of clarity, of focus. At night, they carve their way through the dark, each beam deliberate, each flicker of light like a heartbeat of intention. Move along its side, and the light begins to dance. Metallic paint ripples like liquid thought, reflecting not just the environment, but the philosophy of movement itself. The lines along the doors aren't ornamental, they're aerodynamic gestures where beauty becomes the servant of efficiency. There's art here, yes, but there's restraint. The 2025 Sportage HEV Light doesn't indulge in excess. It embodies proportion, purpose, and patience. Every angle feels considered, every surface alive with meaning. You catch sight of the rear, a clean, deliberate tapering that gives the vehicle a poised composure. The tail lamps stretch across the body in a single, continuous band, like a horizon of red light, connecting both sides, uniting opposites. And then you notice something subtler, how it occupies space. Parked by a curb or gliding down a winding mountain road, it feels both modern and timeless. It doesn't impose itself on the world, it seems to belong to it. Like a well-built piece of architecture or a perfectly balanced sculpture, the Sportage doesn't just exist, it fits. Perhaps that's what makes the 2025 Kia Sportage HEV Light extraordinary, not just its form, but its philosophy. It understands that design isn't a matter of adding more, it's a discipline of knowing what to leave out. True beauty emerges when everything unnecessary has been stripped away, leaving behind only what is essential, what is honest. And in that moment, standing before it, you realize that this is not just a car, it's an idea, one rendered in steel and light, about what happens when intelligence is expressed through motion and elegance becomes the language of power. The 2025 Kia Sportage HEV Light isn't shouting into the noise of modern design, it's whispering something far more compelling. The progress, at its best, is quiet. The moment you step inside the 2025 Kia Sportage HEV Light, something subtle happens. The world outside falls away, not abruptly, but gently, like the closing of a door on chaos. You find yourself in a space that feels less like a machine and more like an idea, one carefully sculpted around the human spirit. It's quiet, Not just acoustically quiet, but psychologically quiet. The lines, the tones, the textures, they all seem to speak the same silent language. Calm. There's a balance here between simplicity and sophistication, the kind that reminds you that elegance isn't about decoration, it's about alignment between what you see, what you touch, and how you feel. The cabin wraps around you like a tailored suit, not confining, but perfectly fitted. Every surface appears intentional. The panoramic display stretches before you, merging the digital and the physical world into a single fluid gesture. The screens don't dominate, they integrate. You sense that the designers didn't just want you to see technology, they wanted you to feel at ease with it. The ambient lighting hums quietly in the background, soft, adaptive, alive. It shifts in tone as daylight fades, echoing the emotional rhythms of your journey. It's more than an aesthetic feature, it's an atmosphere of mindfulness. The light inside this car doesn't illuminate things, it illuminates moods. And then there's the texture of it all, the touch points, the surfaces. Soft touch materials line the doors and dashboard, while the leather-wrapped steering wheel feels warm and deliberate in your hands. You can almost feel the thought that went into every contour, every seam. The air vents don't shout for attention, they breathe the same philosophy as the rest of the cabin, restraint in the service of grace. The seats, supportive yet forgiving, seem to have been designed by someone who understands posture not as geometry, but as psychology. They cradle you in a way that says, you belong here. And that's the essence of good design, to make you feel both grounded and elevated at the same time. Look closer and you start to notice the intelligence woven into the details. The driver's controls are positioned in a kind of ergonomic choreography, everything exactly where your intuition expects it to be. It's as if the cabin itself was built around your gestures, your reach, your way of moving through space. And in that realization, the car stops feeling like an object. It becomes a partner, a subtle extension of your awareness. That's what the 2025 Kia Sportage HEV Light understands so deeply, that technology should never intrude on consciousness, it should amplify it. The hybrid system hums quietly in the background, an invisible intelligence that balances power and serenity. It's a space designed not just for travel, but for thinking, for breathing, for being. You look through the windshield and the road becomes a kind of metaphor, because here, surrounded by this refined simplicity, you realize something. The best journeys are not only the ones that move you forward, but the ones that bring you inward. This interior isn't a place to escape the world. It's a place to reconnect with it, through precision, through balance, through beauty that doesn't demand attention, but rewards it. The 2025 Kia Sportage HEV Light interior isn't about luxury for its own sake. It's about meaning, a sanctuary where design and consciousness meet, where every element whispers the same truth, that comfort is not found in abundance, but in the mastery of restraint. Power, when misunderstood, becomes noise. But when understood, when tempered by intelligence, it becomes harmony. And that is the essence of the 2025 Kia Sportage HEV Light. Not brute strength, but disciplined power. The kind that doesn't shout, the kind that listens before it moves. The moment the engine awakens, you sense something different. There's no roar demanding attention, no drama, just a smooth, intelligent pulse, the quiet heartbeat of a hybrid mind. It's as if the car is saying, I know where we're going. Let's begin. Beneath the surface lies a 1.6-liter turbocharged hybrid system, a synthesis of combustion and electricity, muscle and mindfulness. Together, they produce over 227 horsepower of quiet precision. But numbers alone miss the point, because what truly matters here is not how much power it has, but how it uses it. Acceleration comes not as a burst, but as a conversation between two worlds. The electric motor provides instant torque, the invisible hand that pulls you forward, while the gasoline engine enters seamlessly, like a supporting voice joining a well-tuned choir. You don't feel transition, you feel coherence. It's not a machine shifting modes, it's a system achieving balance. Out on the open road, you begin to realize something profound. This isn't just engineering, it's philosophy rendered in motion. Each movement feels deliberate, each curve measured, each response calibrated, not for spectacle, but for truth. The steering is precise, communicative, a reminder that connection, not isolation, is what gives control meaning. And beneath that calm exterior lies a structure of remarkable integrity. The suspension, tuned for composure rather than chaos, absorbs the world's imperfections with quiet authority. It doesn't fight the road, it collaborates with it. There's a lesson in that. Mastery isn't domination, it's alignment. You take a corner and the hybrid system adjusts in real time. Power shifts fluidly between the electric motor and the engine, optimizing traction and efficiency without demanding your attention. It feels as if the car anticipates your intention, as though it's not just responding to your input, but reading it. This is what intelligent performance means. A machine that doesn't merely obey you, but understands you. Then there's the silence, that remarkable, almost meditative quiet that surrounds you at cruising speed. The engine fades into the background, the world softens, and you begin to realize that power isn't always about noise. Sometimes it's about the capacity to move with grace, to act without aggression, to accelerate without arrogance. The regenerative braking system captures what was once wasted, turning loss into renewal. It's a small act of engineering poetry. Even in slowing down, it's still moving forward. That's not just efficiency, that's wisdom. And in that, the 2025 Kia Sportage HEV Light becomes more than a vehicle. It becomes a metaphor for the modern human condition, the attempt to reconcile power with purpose, energy with awareness, progress with restraint. It's the embodiment of the idea that strength isn't found in chaos, but in order. Not in the roar of the engine, but in the harmony of the whole. Because true performance isn't about how fast you can go. It's about how completely you can move. Body, mind, and machine aligned in a single, fluid act of intention. That's not just driving, that's becoming. So when you drive the 2025 Kia Sportage HEV Light, you're not just behind the wheel of a hybrid SUV. You're in command of an idea that intelligence is the highest form of power, and motion, when guided by understanding, becomes a kind of grace.
The 2025 Kia Sportage HEV Light isn't just transportation, it's transformation of technology, of design, of how we think about motion itself. It's a reminder that the future isn't somewhere we arrive, it's something we build, one decision at a time. A decision to move with awareness, to drive with intention, to live with balance. And when you stand beside it, engine quiet, lights glowing, you realize something profound. Progress isn't about going faster, it's about going truer. Because in the end, the 2025 Kia Sportage HEV Light doesn't just carry you forward, it carries your understanding of what forward truly means.